on a really amazing journey. I've kind of had a front row seat watching this community come together. I'm very humbled and honored to be here working alongside of you guys. I get to work alongside one of my heroes, Richard Grove, and then just what I get to work on every day, helping out small businesses, which is the bastion of freedom. If we don't have small businesses, we don't got freedom on this planet. So I get to just help them get their messaging out there, and in turn growing faster and faster than I ever thought possible. And it couldn't have happened without this community.
Yeah. And it was something you said when we had a season 1 reunion, basically said, if we don't have small businesses, we don't have freedom on this planet. And, it was just kind of a side comment. You threw it out there. And that was one of the most important things I've ever heard you say, because I'd never really thought of it that way. And I've always tried to support local family run businesses, but it's, imagine a world where if the only place you could go to get food and groceries was the World Economic Forum's completely controlled Walmart, where the only thing you can buy are their fake meat. That is what they're trying to push towards. So supporting and getting these small businesses fighting back is essential. And that's, Autonomy Unlimited is there to help that. I mean, that was something you said. I never told you that, but when you said that, that really stuck with me. So
I'm sure I heard it from someone way smarter than me, but it really rang true for me too, because that was something that I didn't quite realize. And with my personality type, I love helping my friends and family on one-on-one, and being able to help small businesses is kind of like that supercharge, because I'm helping them who is helping so many people, their employees, their clients, their customers. Like, it has a much bigger scope of support that I'm able to give and make a bigger difference when we all get these small businesses more and more foundations and being able to see their way through this rocking times.
I'm moving house today. It's been 2 years, 8 months and 28 days, and I've got to say that as I step off the bus for what could be the last time spent as sitting in your boss supermarket queues, etc. And I have to say though, it's only today that I'm glad to be leaving. I really will miss the when Santa today I'm sad, but tomorrow I'll be glad when Santa.
You're listening to truthconduit.com with Chris McMillan.
Yeah, I hope so. No, I've been looking forward to this. It's always great to talk to you, and who knows what we're going to be talking about.
I did Monday. I had an interview about aquaponics with Danny Lilly. I haven't had time to process that one yet, but that's going to be another good one. I'm feeling motivated. He's got a good deal going on, man. There's so many projects, so much is happening, man.
Yeah.
Nobody works as hard as you do, Joshua. Nobody. Nobody.
Richard Grove works pretty damn hard.
Yeah. Yeah. Have you heard of the missing the 411 series, missing 411? Tim Flynn dropped that link the other day, and it's blown my mind. I think you would find it very interesting because it pertains to your neck of the woods more than mine. Yeah. All of these people have been vanishing in mainly in the U.S. North American national parks. And this guy has been researching these particular cases. If they're unsolved, if they've done the search party, there's no evidence of animal mutilation, it meets certain criteria, he will cover it. They made a documentary, and there's a series out on Amazon. And now he's got a YouTube channel where he just gets up and he continues covering these cases. It's mind-blowing and it's terrifying, and it ties into a lot of the more woohoo things that we talk about in the darker corners.
Human trafficking or UFO abduction? Which direction?
He sticks with the facts. All right. He's never suggested. He's
Okay,
never given a theory. He's never. He has said that he's convinced there are people in the government that do know what's going on, and he suggested, we need to get a proper lawyer to uncover, because I don't know the details, but his investigations have been blocked by government agents on a number of occasions, according to things that he said. I haven't watched all of his stuff. He's got a lot out there. He's written like 4 books. Anyway, I'll drop you the link. Tim Flynn threw that out there the other day, and I had heard of it. I was aware of it. I just didn't know how extensive and ongoing it was. Even just the beginning of May, there was another case. There's always this, just people are vanishing inexplicably.
Great. I'll watch it with my wife before we head to the East Coast.
Yeah.
With our road trip going through all the national parks.
Well, he puts out a lot of safety measures. He has a few suggestions. He reckons there's certain steps people could take to prevent this from happening. The main thing, there's always a point of separation as well. That person is suddenly alone, and bam, that's when they vanish. No trace of them. It's unbelievable. Don't get separated.
Yeah.
All right, let's get started. Okay, everybody, my name's Chris McMillan. This is another episode of truthconduit.com, and I'm here with the one and only, the excitement's building up in me as I say it, Joshua Hale. Joshua Hale is, look at this, I got a little list here. Are you ready? Entrepreneur, a business manager, an explorer of truth and all things that are good in this world, a father, a husband, a Wim Hofer, an audiovisual pro, an autonomy graduate, a podcaster, and more relative to today's topic, the executive operating manager for Autonomy Unlimited. Joshua Hale, how are you doing this afternoon?
I'm doing pretty excellent. Yeah, I got to go camping this last weekend, some much needed R&R, and now plugging right through the week.
On my podcast, my website, I'm focusing on 2 things. It's kind of 3 really: awareness, solutions, and now more recently, I've kind of started doing the how-to. If I know how to do it, I try to share it. I mean, there's 100 videos out there on how to make pancakes, but I thought, okay, I'll add my 2 cents. And so, if people are here learning about heavier things, they may as well learn how to make pancakes, right? So this is solutions for entrepreneurs and small businesses. So basically, I'll let you go with it. I mean, my first question is, what is Autonomy Unlimited?
Well, Autonomy Unlimited is a digital and consulting, a digital marketing consulting agency. So we have probably about a dozen freelancers that have all gone through the autonomy course, built this culture of excellence, settled into being experts in their field. And I get to spend all day talking to small businesses and figuring out how to help them generate revenue so that they can keep doing, so that they can help support their families and live a life of liberty just the way that they want to.
Okay, so there's been a lot of confusion out there lately that, and it makes sense, because you've got the autonomy class, and then you've got Autonomy Unlimited, and then you've got Grand Theft World. Could you clarify and distinguish how those are separate and yet how they're related?
Yeah, so I helped Richard start the autonomy course about 3 years ago now. We're just about to complete our 5th season of that. And that, in that, from helping him produce it, I then gained value from the material. And one of the things I learned most from it was the sales, how to be able to perform ethical sales. To my surprise, it really was something that I had already was trying to do, not with very much success, but just being able to find ways to exchange value with people. But one of my shortcomings was I didn't ask for my own self-worth in the arrangement. And so I'm a giver as a personality type. I love to support others, support small businesses, but I wasn't asking for my own self-worth. So what I learned from the autonomy course was how to make an offer, how to have a fair value of exchange. And then at the end of my first season, I ended up pitching the teacher and making him an offer to see if Richard would go into business with me, combining my marketing background with his sales experience and his consulting experience from Wall Street. He accepted my offer, and from the beginning of 2020, we incorporated Autonomy Unlimited as our new marketing agency. And because that was created, it was solving a lot of problems, including Richard had consulting clients business on the side before his course and all his students. So, but his issue was he could recommend what they needed to do. You guys need, you gotta figure out where your sales or where your leads are coming from, and then be able to put your offer in front of those people. But he didn't have anyone to recommend how to get those steps done. So because I stepped up and I had a framework and experience, he now with confidence is able to recommend our services to people as a solution to increasing their revenue. So that was a perfect fit. But then also I'm the executive director of Autonomy, and what we were able to build was a way for students to learn about new freelancing skills, or when they have ideas to take to market, they're able to then utilize Autonomy Unlimited services as their next step after they go through the autonomy course, to either gain experience from those, gain experience with their skills with real world projects, so that they could add that to their portfolio, or they could come to us after they've formulated their idea and they're ready to take their idea to market, and we can help them build their business and their process, website, and all that, to be able to help them get a foothold in today's market. So that worked out really nicely, and we've been growing and expanding ever since. We're about a year and a half old now, and we started business during a pandemic and survived that first year, and now we're on a really great trajectory. Students continue to show up and share their skills with us, and being able to help us get into a really powerful growing position. Grand Theft World was started, I think, mid last year, and for the longest time, Richard had an idea for a podcast. Obviously, there's a lot of truth to the title of that, but it serves as a way for Richard to do what he does best, taking large, complex issues, current events, and bringing in the history that Richard knows as a forensic historian to add context to what it is that we're seeing thrown at us week by week in the mainstream news. And he does a 5-hour-ish podcast every Sunday now as a review of the last week, putting things in filtering the news essentially, and being able to point out what's most relevant, kind of taking away that burden and responsibility from a lot of us of wanting to keep up to date on the danger of the world around us, but not wanting to subject ourselves to watching mainstream media. And so he created that filter. That podcast is student ran. Everybody that's working on that project all graduated from Autonomy. And because of that, it was really exciting to see the community come together and share content. We have a really rich community, I think like 300-400 people now in the Grand Theft World community that is constantly sharing articles and things that you need to know. And then that filters its way up to the podcast. And then Richard will display it and comment on it. And so it's a really fun experience. And that itself is acting basically like a proxy, so that when the censorship that's continuing to rise turns our way, ideally it will go for Grand Theft World and leave autonomy alone, so that we can continue to train individuals to become autonomous and support entrepreneurs to reaching their dreams.
Yeah, I mean, I am an example of that. I was with you in Autonomy Season 1, and through that, I started copywriting and video editing, and I started this podcast, truthconduit.com, and now I'm, I was an apprentice doing a lot of work, and now starting slowly, but I am starting to contribute to, I write the newsletter I help write the newsletter for Grand Theft World and doing the odd video editing job. And there are many other examples other than myself. I mean, it really is, it's 3 separate communities, but there's so much overlap. But they are different, but at the same time, the same. But what the bond there is the fact that we all think that freedom is a good thing. That, there are overlying themes that, to do everything with integrity. What would you say the common bond of this community is? Integrity, do everything with excellence, don't hurt other people. What am I missing?
Well, just the drive for self-improvement and wanting to just improve not only yourself, but what's around you. Like, once you surround yourself with people of that similar drive, like, it ends up just helping us all propel forward towards the goals that we're all trying to achieve.
Yeah. And it was something you said when we had a season 1 reunion, when you were talking, you said something that stuck to me, and you basically said, if we don't have small businesses, we don't have freedom on this planet. And, it was just kind of a side comment. You threw it out there. And that was one of the most important things I've ever heard you say, because I'd never really thought of it that way. And I thought, I've always tried to support local family run businesses, but it's, imagine a world where if the only place you could go to get food and groceries was the World Economic Forum's completely controlled Walmart, where the only thing you can buy are their fake meat. That is what they're trying to push towards. So supporting and getting these small businesses fighting back is essential. And that's, Autonomy Unlimited is there to help that. I mean, that was something you said. I never told you that, but when you said that, that really stuck with me. So
I'm sure I heard it from someone way smarter than me, but it really rang true for me too, because that was something that I didn't quite realize. And with my personality type, I love helping my friends and family on one-on-one, and being able to help small businesses is kind of like that supercharge, because I'm helping them, who is helping so many people, their employees, their clients, their customers. Like, it has a much bigger scope of support that I'm able to give and make a bigger difference when we all get these small businesses more and more foundations and being able to see their way through this rocky times.
Every decision we make every day makes a small wave, puts out waves, in the universe. And I'm talking about, should I go to Walmart or should I go to, the family-owned butchers up the way? It's a no-brainer for a lot of people. like us. Of course, sometimes I'm using Walmart as an example, but I'm talking about the big corporate entity that cannot seem to fail because it's backed by the governments. In theory, I wouldn't have a problem with big corporations like Walmart and Exxon and Shell and Home Depot and all of them. But the problem is, can they fail? If people just stopped buying, stopped going there, would they fail? I don't think so. I'm not sure how accurate I am in how that much they're being propped up, but in a truly free market world, people really would be completely empowered because, everybody's complaining, oh, these oil companies are evil, blah, blah, blah. Well, then, okay, you've got the power to change that, but you don't, because they're backed up by the middleman and by governments. So every day, the ripple effect of the smallest decisions we make in the small towns that we're at, though, that is what we have to be aware of. What can we do? That
was a hard lesson for me to get in the practice of, because I grew up extremely poor. I was on government cheese since I was a kid, and I never really learned money management. So I'd work a job in exchange for my time, and I would get a pretty measly paycheck, a few $100s. And so I'd go to the store and I would be constantly just hunting for the cheapest thing of whatever it is that I was shopping for, to try and stretch the paycheck that I just worked really hard to get. And that mindset controlled all my decisions, right? I didn't care about the small mom and pop store who might have had a better quality product, because I was living in scarcity. And now that I've been able to grow out of that, this is something that Autonomy's greatly helped me with, is getting out of that scarcity mindset, and just focusing on providing value. That's all you need to do, is just find ways to provide value in your situations, in your relationships, in your business. And then you end up doing that enough that this backflow takes place, and then you start getting taken care of, and you start making more and having more. And I'm now being able to make wiser decisions with my money, because I'm not stuck in this scarcity mindset. Shoes, for an example, I would buy the cheapest pair of shoes, like $23 pair of shoes, because that's all I could afford. That would be blown out in like 3 months, and I'd have to buy another pair of shoes and another pair of shoes and another pair of shoes, when I could have spent $100, bought a pair of shoes, and they'd last for like 5-6 years. So it's just little tricks like that you get stuck in these small, narrow ways of thinking, that ends up by keeping you in this kind of controlled or planned obsolescence type of world, that you're just buying crap and throwing it away and not appreciating it. And now that I'm able to buy like a half a cow, that's efficient and cost effective. And I'm not going to the store every other day now to get my hamburger that I normally that I want to eat, buying a bunch of junk along with that hamburger just because I needed the hamburger. But now I just go to the freezer, pull it out. I got some good grass-fed beef from right down the street that I can now enjoy, and then go to the garden and pull out some vegetables, and I got a meal.
Yeah. Supporting the local community, keeping it within the community is very important. It ties into what we're saying. And I liked your example of the shoes. My example would be a garden hose, the same. You get the cheapest garden hose, doesn't last very long, and you end up buying another one.
We just bought the 100-foot expensive $100 hose to get out to our garden. And you're right. Like, why buy that thing every year when it's worth it to just buy a good one?
For meat, I do a butcher box. We're pretty happy with it. If you go to the Survival Podcast, Jack Spirko, with his discount, you can get some good discounts and good deals there with butcher box. And of course,
how often does that come a week?
No, once a month. It's a huge
Once a
box
month?
that comes
Nice.
once a month. And
Ooh.
and we've had offers to go in for a cow before all this mess kicked off, and we didn't take it up. Now we're thinking about getting a cow, and we've got some friends who said we'll go in with you. And of course, when it comes to ham and bacon, I would like to think our buddy up north of me from Autonomy would, I'll be able to do business with him. But that's again, goes back to what we're saying. Do you know somebody? Do you know somebody who makes it? Can you do business with them? Now we're getting into the counter economics kind of field of things, but that's the way I work. I'll start, if I can't make it myself, do I know somebody who can provide it? Trade with them. Otherwise, local family, small businesses. And it's like, outward, you just make your waves outward. And if you do end up cornered in Walmart every once in a while, it happens, or the metaphorical Walmart, whatever, whether it's Petco or Home Depot or any of that. Joshua, you touched on the past a little bit. And I wanted to ask you, can you go back further in time? You were talking about the way you described yourself could be myself as well. I went to public school. I had that scarcity mentality, learned helplessness, and I still fight it every day, but at least now I recognize it as it's happening and say, okay, and I overcome it much quicker than I would have otherwise. What else? What further back before Autonomy, how did you start to realize there's more to the world than what we're supposed to know? How did you end up actually in Autonomy? Did you come like through tragedy and hope? Do you want to talk a bit about that?
Sure. Whew, where do I start? I'll keep this brief. Let's see. What's funny is I was raised a Jehovah's Witness, and when I was 16, I didn't like the situation I was in. I was in love with a girl, and my parents forbid me to see her, and so I said, "Why?" And nobody could answer that question. Why is love wrong? And my whole family in this relationship, and I just knew there was something wrong in that kind of controlled system. Looking back, they're very anti-government, which is ironic, and so now I kind of get where my roots are. But from there, I ended up basically thrust into the world with not being pretty naive. Just getting to the party scene and drinking and smoking, and ended up doing hard drugs, getting addicted to hard drugs, and started DJing, had a lot of fun for my whole 20s. And before I knew it, I was 30 and had really horrendous drug habits.
Got you. Yeah, sorry, continue. So you had horrendous drug habits. It got choppy there for
and I knew I couldn't continue going down that route because imminent death. So I was able to learn about meditation. I knew I wanted to learn about meditation. I read Eckhart Tolle, and he helped me understand the space that is available if you stop thinking. And from there, developed a meditation practice, and then was able to address all my addictive habits that I had: smoking, drinking, hard drugs, party lifestyle, high highs and low lows. And when I came out of that fog, I realized I had a lot of development that I had to do to kind of catch up to those people that I was looking up to at that time. And which
you definitely caught up, and I'd say you're well ahead of yourself at this point.
Yeah. So I started off on a walk in the direction that I wanted to head. Ended up getting up to a nice marathon jog, and then learned about tragedy and hope. And then I saw Rich wanting to do an entrepreneur course, and I had course experience helping other clients build courses for them. So I reached out to him. I loved everything that Richard's ever done. He just puts immense value out there. It impacted my life, brought Trivium Method into my life, and then history. It's the greatest history lesson that you could ever get, going through the Peace Revolution. So I just wanted to help him out with creating this course, because I saw how needed it was and how much value he can spread out there. So that's when I reached out to him and showed him a fancy video of what I could build for him, caught his eye, and then we've been working together ever since.
And so it seems like, though, despite your bad habits and being a bit lost, you always were a bit entrepreneur minded, because you already had some marketing experience building up to the days of tragedy and hope, didn't you? Because do you remember, what was it? It was Click Monster. When I met you, you had Click Monster going, things like that.
Yeah, that was my previous partner, his marketing company. He kind of took me under his wing. But I was working in a 9-to-5 job as a line cook. I was a really good cook, but it's a challenging career to make a living in. There's lots of work there, but you don't get paid very well. And so I knew I didn't want to get stuck in doing that forever. But all the skills that I had accumulated at that time didn't look good on a resume when I'm trying to get a better career for myself. And so I was just racking my brain how to get out of that rut that I found myself in. And I saw the rise of social media, and this is back in 2012, and that all businesses were going to have to adapt to marketing themselves on social media. And so I ended up taking a bunch of online courses. There was nothing in universities back there, and teaching myself how to market on social media, finding my own first client through a friend of mine who recommended me. And then from then built a website and found myself on a new path where I was able to help other kind of solopreneurs with their social media, and then learned about digital marketing, the huge umbrella that entails, and then just started learning all the skills that it takes to be able to be a good marketer. And so by the time I ran into Rich and what he was putting together, I had a good amount of skills in that area. But Rich's ability to really take a lot of data points and lay out easy to understand way to know what all that means and how it's applicable in your life. He filled me in with a lot of the autonomy material to flesh out all of what being an entrepreneur means. And so since then, now I'm really in like hyperdrive mode, where I get to every day learn about new problems that businesses are having, figure out technology and skills of freelancers to be able to solve those problems, and then seeing those things really supercharge their business, which helps me go to bed at night.
Yeah. And you're still, are you on Saturday mornings, you still doing the podcasts for Autonomy to do it live? It's been a while since I've tuned into that.
That was a beautiful thing. So I saw an opportunity. Autonomy was in like its 3rd season, I think, and had the idea to do kind of a weekly recap podcast. I had never done a podcast before. I tried doing some like YouTube live videos several years prior, and it was just really uncomfortable to watch me because I lacked self-control. I lacked the ability to speak clearly and control my ahs and ums and be able to keep in one space, because I always used to like to wiggle all over the place when I was talking. My wife pointed that out, so now I'm very conscious of it. But I was able to then...
Sorry to interrupt. Yeah. Can I ask you something? You're standing up right now, aren't you?
Yeah.
You're always standing up. I don't think I've ever seen you sitting down. Yeah, admirable. I don't think I've ever seen.
I have a standing desk. Yeah. So
healthier.
It is way healthier. I still have some bad leaning habits, but it's better than sitting down all day. I am online a good chunk of the day, and yeah, it would crush my back sitting in a chair all day long.
Sorry, I interrupted you, but the Do It Live podcast, though, now the students themselves are getting an opportunity to host every once in a while. Is that right?
That's what's so cool. Yeah. So I got a lot of experience with the first couple seasons of hosting Do It Live, getting comfortable on camera, being able to tell everybody to smash that like button and subscribe to where you're watching this and get a good feel of being able to be on camera and hold some sort of control. And but I also like to start things and not necessarily like to, run with the torch all the way to the finish line. So this season we tried something new, and Rich put out a call to the new students to see who would be interested in gaining that valuable experience too, in a controlled environment with support of your peers, to be able to come on camera and go through a structure that's been already built for you, to be able to recount what you have gained and experienced this last week in autonomy. So it's like bowling with the little bumper gutters. So you can't fully go in the gutter. So because of that, man, we booked out the whole season of students wanting that opportunity to be able to test out podcasting for themselves. Like, this is something that could easily turn into a career, like what you forged for yourself, where you're reaching out to big wigs out there and landing awesome interviews, to where who knows what these students of this last season are going to head in because of this great opportunity and being able to move through the fire of being uncomfortable and vulnerable and challenging technology to getting on the other side. We're like, wow, you can do this. So it's been really great to kind of sit back this season and just let the new students talk about their last week in autonomy, because that's where there's a lot of magic that happens. But the goal behind Do It Live was to give the outside world a window inside of autonomy, so that they can see how valuable and what it can offer them to their lives. And the best way to do that is to really hear the students and their experience of going through the material and the exercises and the community that they're going through. And that's honestly like a great promotion for autonomy, is that third party promoting their experience.
Yeah, and anyone listening, Autonomy has their own YouTube channel where people can, I'll put it in the link, where you can check out the YouTube channel and you can see students doing integration exercises and the Do It Live podcast, the odd interview. On truthconduit.com website, there's a button there in the archives, and you can see all the integration interviews I did with the season 1 students, and our old interviews on there somewhere, Joshua. And that was when you were doing Click Monster. But yeah, the Autonomy YouTube channel is it's still up and running. And plus, I believe anytime there's a guest as well, that's put on the channel as well. So anyone thinking about autonomy and they want to get more insight than whatever they're looking at that's another alternative method for them to kind of say, well, let's see what the students are doing in the channel. Exactly. What about with Autonomy Unlimited? I think you've touched on this, but I wanted to ask you, what kind of clients would benefit most from Autonomy Unlimited? What would be like the ideal client that really should be aware? I mean, what kind of companies are we talking about? What kind of businesses? What are these people doing that are benefiting from Autonomy Unlimited?
Yeah, we spend a lot of time with solopreneurs, or just kind of that one business person who's starting out their business, or maybe is like 5 years into it. And there's just so much to try and optimize as a business owner, from not only your product or service and that whole experience, but then there's the responsibility of social media and doing posts every week, and then emails and sending emails out to make sure that you got new customers coming in. It can be really overwhelming. And so we come in, and as an agency, we have all this fantastic skills in-house so that we can figure out what it is you need, and then create processes and schedules so that these things get automated and take that stress off of you. Meanwhile, you're generating more revenue from the efforts that you're doing. You get to consult with myself and Richard Grove and really get some big picture direction or areas on your business that could greatly improve your revenue. So it's really tapping into like a one-stop shop for your business. Everything from solopreneur all the way up to probably about, I think our largest client has probably about 20 employees. Still considered, I consider that like a hyper small business or to just a small business.
What the burdens that we take away are like any video editing, copywriting, social media marketing, email listing. What else? I'm drawing a blank here. Graphic design. That's another one.
Graphic design, course creation is something that
Yes,
we really excel
that's
at,
a huge
helping
one.
people create
Yeah.
courses. That one's super fun. And we just did one for John Bush in this last month. He did a crypto course and he came to us with the idea. And he basically said, I have a Tom Woods interview in about 10 days. So I need to create this course to offer it on there. And we were like, whoa, usually don't like to work with that tight of a schedule, but the team really stepped up and we knocked it out of the park. He ended up making, I think, 20x return on what he put into it. So course creation is something we love to do. We do audience research. We have a really fantastic method for you to like understand the market and what people are looking for in order to give them a solution to their problems. We offer shadow hosting and video editing support. So if you're looking to do webinars or a podcast or a big event like that, we can step in with a team and remove a lot of the pitfalls so that when it is time to produce the content, nothing is a nice smooth ride.
Like what are some of the types of businesses that have Autonomy Unlimited has been helping? I mean, one of the more interesting examples I can think of is there's a home gymnasium. You know, our buddy is doing is creating a course for people to do a workout at home. That's just one example. What else? What are, like, to give somebody an idea of what exactly we're talking about? What kind of companies?
One that's about to start in the next couple months. Well, Jordan Page is starting tonight, so he's got a how to play guitar course that's kicking off tonight. Probably too late by the time you're watching this to catch this season of it, but he's going to be coming around doing that again. And another one that's going to be starting next month is Anthony Summy, who is a season 4 graduate, is doing a course on how to draw, publish, and market your own comic books. That one's going to be super. He's been teaching in the universities for like 10 plus years how to draw, and now he's going to take his experience with comic books and publishing comic books and teach a course on how to draw comics and publish them. So that one's going to be really exciting. We're helping out Barbie Rivera with creating a Kickstarter campaign for K-8 curriculum that is really needed, and that's going to be very valuable as soon as we can help her get all that completed to create an online course and to offer a K-8 curriculum that's not that hasn't been distorted with Common Core and sight reading. That's kind of desecrated a few generations. We have yoga studios. We have let's see, one of my longest running clients is a romance author, so I know all about the romance industry, which is a whole topic in itself.
Finance.
Finance. Yeah, we have an investment course that we're helping with right now with a client named Dr. Richard Smith. That's going to be extremely valuable. That is an area that I need a lot of tutoring in. We also help out wealth management. Yeah, we're the common niche is really we like our freedom and liberty-minded entrepreneurs out there. So we're really always on the hunt for businesses that share our values. And then, yeah, just being a small business, and we like small businesses because they got a dog in the fight. It's kind of a live or die environment. So they're fully committed. It's not just some, manager that you're dealing with is like, I don't know, somebody will do it. Or we're not dealing with a large corporation that can have their own marketing wing of their business. Like their survival depends on it. And that really brings a serious client to us that matches our team's level of dedication.
It's a nice broad list, guitar, fitness, art, homeschooling, the curriculum, yoga, romance, finance, crypto. Oh my. And of course we got Benny Wills. Benny has been doing very well with his Parrhesia course. Going forward, then this summer, there's a lot going on. There's exciting things happening starting in a few weeks. Well, in a few days. In fact, today, we've got about 4 or 5 days before the Greater Reset 2 starts, which Autonomy Unlimited had a huge part in that. That's, going on. When did it start? The 24th. Yeah. The next Monday.
Yep, on Monday, we're providing media support to the Greater Reset during the 5-day event with like 20 speakers. We've been helping them with marketing material. We're doing PR campaigns for them. We've been doing event coordination. This is really helping to support that event to make it a huge success. And then we have the end of season 5 of Autonomies coming up in the next couple weeks, so that we're going to be ready to start a whole new marketing push for season 6. And that's also, Autonomy is one of our biggest clients for Autonomy Unlimited, and something that I'm just extremely proud of how much that has grown and developed. I think we did over 100 and I think 150 students this last season. And now we got our like full funnel in place. There's an obstacle course, there's the trifecta, there's the 19 essential skills you can download, all as different entrances into one big marketing funnel where you can learn about how great Autonomy is and how it can help you either as an individual or as a business. And then after that, we wrap up season 5 of Autonomy. All the students, there's going to be a lot of students that travel over to New Hampshire for Pork Fest, me included, where me and my wife are going to be taking a road trip in our new camper van over there to have a season 5 graduation with probably about 50 students. That's all going to self-organize and go celebrate.
So the first time that happened was season 1 at the Red Pill Expo in Hartford, Connecticut. That was amazing. And it was so unexpected for so many people. And Richard kind of mentioned it, and a lot of students were like, okay, but then I don't know, suddenly, yeah, why not? Let's do it, and suddenly we had an amazing get together there. And then there's also, the Red Pill
pandemic hit, so it kind of just shut all in-person meetings down for a couple seasons. And now we're
the Red Pill after that was in Mesquite, Nevada, and there was still a handful of Autonomy students that met up there, myself included. I don't know what happened at Jekyll Island. That was right in the middle of the pandemic. I wasn't going anywhere. Just
we were all grounded.
Yeah, we were not. We probably could have. We just, we're kind of watching the situation. And the Red Pill Expo is now going on in 2 weeks. You're
going to that, right?
Yeah, in Rapid City, South Dakota. So there's about 5 or 6 in the Autonomy community going to that. And then, of course, the big one will be in Pork Fest. It's going to be a good summer. There's a lot to look forward to going forward. What else, Joshua? Do you have any other than Autonomy Unlimited and Autonomy? What else do you want to say?
Well, it's just been a huge honor to not only be a part of autonomy and watch everybody grow and take the paths that the previous graduates have laid out, making it an easier way to travel. But there's lots of things in the works where students are now creating their own courses. Our lead copywriter is about to make a copywriting course. Social media department in Autonomy Unlimited is about to make a social media course to help graduates be able to learn quickly, if they want to learn about those departments or topics to apply to their own businesses or to become a freelancer and help out with Autonomy Unlimited clients. And then we have a lot of beneficiary projects that we're helping out with the Liberty Movement. So we're able to donate and give our time and expertise into helping freedom be there for our grandkids. And so there's just always lots of fun things to be working on. And I get to like meet awesome people that I look up to and work alongside them, like John Bush, Derek Bros, this last week. And it's something that would have blown my mind 5 years ago. And I have worked my way into this position through hard work and dedication. And it's just really rewarding to be able to be surrounded by just awesome people with high values that are similar to mine, and knowing that my effort is making a change in the world.
Excellent, Joshua. Are you still, I remember when you were getting up at 5 a.m. every morning. I mean, you were like, you decided I'm going to make this work. And I know those were, I mean, it's still going, but what, that initial period when you were really trying to get this cranked up, you were working so hard. Are you still?
Getting a business going, just requires a lot of, I've heard it described as like you're birthing a business, right? So it takes a tremendous amount of energy and focus and dedication to like make that experience happen. And it's kind of like pushing big boulder up a hill to get it up to the top. And then, as my grandfather taught me when about his running his business that he started, you get it to the top and then you end up chasing the boulder down the other side. And so
I like that metaphor.
It's a fun ride. I still get up at 5 a.m. I have a 3-year-old. And so I get up for deep work at 5 a.m., do an hour of that, come in, make breakfast with the family, and then get back out to the office at 8:30, work a good full day, and then come back out at night for like one more hour of like alone time. There's no emails, there's no phone calls, there's no disruption. That's when I can actually like get some like deeper projects to move forward. And I've developed that habit and that work regime, and it's just kind of become part of my schedule now. I work from home. My wife works from home. So we've designed this life where nobody's telling us what to do. We're our own bosses, and we have a good 5 acres out in the country. And we live on a multi-generational farm. So we have support with the kid, and we have a growing community, and it's a life that I like consciously chose to design, and I don't regret working so much. But I do know that I'm heading in a direction where I can create systems so that I don't have to work as much as the business gets developed.
And there's a lot more to what you just said as well. Okay, you're getting up, you're a guy, you've got your own business going, but there's something else. There's something much more important that we haven't mentioned. That it's so much more than a normal business, because, I have to say it, you and I are both aware of something that most people in this world are completely oblivious to. And if they don't wake up to it, they're going to get themselves killed or sick or worse. They're going to get culled, basically. So it's more, it's basically, I hate to use the Star Wars metaphor, but the Rebel Alliance, man, it's one, and I know there's a lot of aspects of the Rebel Alliance being formed out there. I'm finding out more and more every day, but the autonomy, Grand Theft World, Autonomy Unlimited kind of community is one big facet of that,
Yeah, well, because this is the truth conduit, we can talk about this. But yeah, there is an underlying mission for Autonomy and Autonomy Unlimited in Grand Theft World, and that's to spread awareness of the current situation that we're in, the rising technocracy that's embroaching into all of our counties and infiltrating our small towns to basically take away the freedoms of the individual, collectivize everyone's resources, and remove their ability to make decisions for themselves and their family. So Grand Theft World is spearhead of spreading that information of awareness out there, exposing the problem. And then we got autonomy as a solution for the individual. And then we have Autonomy Unlimited for the solution for the business. So I feel very much at peace inside because I know I'm contributing to a grander, bigger mission of being able to take care of my family, but also spread awareness of the situation I'm in so that more and more community can band together and push back on our liberties being taken away from us.
Well said, Joshua. I think that's a good place to wrap up. Do you have any final thoughts?
Nope. Chris, love working with you. It's been so great to see you blossom and become a powerhouse podcaster. And I can't wait to come down and see your farm.
Oh, you're welcome anytime, man. Absolutely. All right, cool. Thanks a lot, Joshua.
Walking down the street where children play. For them it's just another day. The future's reflected in their parents' faces who chose to stay on in this place where they were born, went to school, got married, and kids like their grandparents before them did. Got to escape, you know, before it's too late. Although today I could say that I really will miss the when Santa. But yeah, I was right. Knew what it was like when Santa.
You've been listening to truthconduit.com with Chris McMillan. Go to the subscribe page and sign up to get notifications of the latest posts. And check out the support page to help keep it going.
Yeah, I've got a friend in Jesus Christ. I've got a friend in Jesus Christ, and Krishna and Buddha and my bartender.
Have you found that your skills aren't matching up with the challenges ahead? Here are 19 essential skills for success that school never taught you. Get your free copy by following the link below or visit getautonomy.info/19skills.